Hi nerds! It is Saturday, May 21st, 2016, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my day job. If you aren't aware, I am not a full-time writer. I actually work full-time at a library, which I love. The harsh truth of being a writer is that it often does not pay the bills like we'd like it to. A lot of writers have to have a full or part-time job to supplement their writing, and if you have to work, you might as well do something that you will enjoy. I'm definitely a proponent of having some kind of backup passion or career goal just in case you need that extra income. And I know that a lot of writers like the idea of working in a library, because you get to work with books all day. What's not to like? And since I am lucky enough to work in the library world, I thought that today I would give you guys some information about what it's like, what you need to know, just in case you are thinking that it might be something you'd like to do. Number one, if you're thinking that you'd like to go full out and be an actual librarian, you're most likely going to need a master's degree. That's an extra 2 years on top of a typical 4-year undergraduate college degree. Now, some states make exceptions for school librarians, like in an elementary, middle, high school library, if you've already spent a few years teaching and you just get the librarian certification that you need. That definitely depends on the State Board of Education and how they handle that. And there are also a lot of library jobs that aren't necessarily librarians. This is particularly true at university libraries, where they are so big and they do so much, provide so many services to the students, that the librarians need a lot of staff support. So things like working at the circulation desk, cataloging books, providing IT support to the library, those things don't necessarily need a master's degree in library science. The important thing to remember is, though, that non-librarian jobs in libraries kind of have limited growth because eventually you get to the point where the next highest position than you is a librarian position, and then you've got to get that master's degree. Number two, working at a library does involve interacting with people. A lot of us writers are introverts and/or have social anxiety, so this is just something important to remember, that a lot of library jobs do require that daily interaction with patrons. There are library jobs that don't involve nearly as much face-to-face interaction with people. I mentioned cataloging earlier. My first job in a library was in college in the acquisitions department, so really I only interacted with my coworkers and my carts full of books. But my current job involves working at a circulation desk and interacting with students, and my introverted self really enjoys it. Library people are nice. They're usually people who like books and nerdy things, and it's not nearly as stressful as something like a retail store or a restaurant, because people tend to be a little bit nicer at libraries. Number three, a lot of library jobs require experience. One of those frustrating fields to get into because a lot of the entry-level jobs require experience, but how are you supposed to get that experience if no one will hire you for the entry-level jobs because they require experience? That library work is something you'd like to get into, maybe try to find some volunteer opportunities. Public libraries usually need a lot of help because they don't have a lot of funding. Still in high school, you can see if your school's librarian needs any help before or after school. I'm sure they'd love that. In college, or going to be in college soon, try to get a student job in your university's library. University libraries basically survive off of student workers. I was able to get a grown-up full-time library job because I worked at my school's library when I was in college, which gave me a few years of experience, which I needed for my current position. Working in a library really is great. Books, working with people who love books, talking to people about books, recommending books, planning events based on books. You just want all your days to be filled with books, and you want access to them without having to buy them. Working in a library is wonderful. What I have to say about working in a library. I love it. I plan on doing it for a long time, at least until I become a New York Times #1 bestseller and can live off of my writing. Our live chat tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time. We'll see you then.